Thanks for joining us. It seems like it's been a long time since we had our spaces. I don't know. Probably I was sick as last week, and still I'm sick. India has kind of made me made me into a bad position. Like been like really bad. So, anyways, thanks a lot for joining us, guys. I think this is one of the important ones. And really excited because a lot of info to be shared. Um, before we jump into the info and discussion, just wanted to give a shout out to Jira Cookouts, the Jira Cooks. I think it's been phenomenal. I think probably we are not doing justice in terms of marketing for those that channel particularly, but I think I would be surprised if any of you are not following it. It looks like almost a nil risk and 100% success so far. I've been seeing all the calls, like some free mints, whatever recent ones, the checks and stuff, doing a 16, 20, and 50x and stuff like that. It's just been crazy. I think a lot of credits to Tata for kicking off this, and Eric and Witcher. I think Witcher is. If any of you haven't, and Feedpix has been one of the biggest calls, and we are the first ones to do it here. The best part is none of these guys are working elsewhere, and it's not like this pump and dumps. It's purely, we have been monitoring to ensure that it's not like something where these guys are Genesis holders working, for PG for you guys. They're not paid or anything. They're looking to incentivize, them in some way. They deserve a lot more, but it's purely about alpha is about finding things early. It's not just about making a call that Azuki is going to pump and Doodles is going to pump because we all know it's going to pump. But I think the aspect of identifying things early, doing the job on behalf of others to search for contracts, search for upcoming free mints, and stuff. I think it's a fantastic job that these guys are doing, and I hope as holders we support them. It's yeah, exactly. They're not even callers. They're pretty much, I would call it more like scouts, or like let's call them the scouts or something, right? Like in a sense where they're scouting for potential new opportunities. There's nothing to hide there. You guys go and check out the channel and just see all the calls that I've made. It's not even calls. All the info that they have posted, mostly free mints or under 0.001 ETH mints, low risk, and it's been doing 10 and 15 x's, like pretty much. As always, keep a small amount for these things, make some money, and then use that capital to keep working. So shout out to Fire Nova, Eric, Shin, I mean Tata, and Witcher. These guys have been supporting us through FUD, through highs, through lows. I'm pretty emotional in that sense because it's been a hard journey, guys. It's definitely been. I don't know how to express this, but I don't know if any of you here are just working for a Web3 project somewhere, and something like ours, especially where we're not paying crazy amounts, or we're not even paying actually, excellent amounts for ourselves or even for the people, and they're doing it out of love for PG. And it's been phenomenal to see that, all these guys, even the marketing team, the Jira cooks, the Gen 2 holders, who and the Genesis guys who have been supporting us. Thanks a lot. Not easy. I think when money is involved, it's very easy to FUD. The only thing people can't FUD about PG is calling us cash grab, but I think we have been called everything else, just by people because they bought in at different points or different this thing, or they see other projects pump and PG not pump 10x and stuff. And I've been getting DMs from holders asking me to tweet more about PG just to pump it. As I said, I'm 100%. I understand the concerns about the push for marketing and all those things, but please do understand that I want products out. I want products to work. I want people to first internally check, test all these products before we go out, with full guns blazing to the public. We cannot be focusing on the floor. As much as I say that, I understand floor is an important metric, but just what I'm saying is we want the products to be out. We want useful products to be out first, and then get more people in through multiple other ways. But for now, I think we're still holding fine. I think in the ratio of the mint prices and stuff, but attracting the whales, tapping into all our connections, and things like that. We want to do it once we have a little more stabilized website and info and all those things. So thanks for everybody who's been patient. So just wanted to give a shout out to these guys before I kicked off. All right. So I think obviously I think as you guys may know, Fusion is pretty much right around the corner, and we pretty much wanted to have a talk about it, and what to expect. Like some of you, I don't know how many of you read the Medium article. I think some of you read it, and whoever read it, I think we're pretty happy with what we are trying to do and what's coming up with Fusion. The thing is, right, to be straightforward, to come to the point, right, the most important aspect of a product or a project is actually product developments and product delivery, right? So there is a chance, like if you take any project, they work on a product, there's no guarantee that that product is going to be successful, right? Like that goes for any project, as much even for something like Basi, like the other side, for example. So a product market fit, no one knows at this stage. So what do we do there, right? So the best thing to do is have a range of products, like SaaS, right? I've been talking about it for the longest of times, but the question is, can a single project focus and launch multiple different products, more than 10 or more than 20, for example, and also not burn the funds, but at the same time have 20 plus useful products, for instance. It's not feasible, to be very honest, right? So that's why we have been taking up equities in projects without spending dollars, but purely with our connections and stuff. We've been taking equity a year or 6 months or 2 years, whenever that could be. As the product of a product grows, we make money, right? But we do not have to put a lot of our time or effort to run it, because there's a separate team that's running it, and we're just helping them in the back end with, let's say, VC fundings or with connections or networking and stuff. So what we are trying to shift or move towards is also supporting the builder or creator economy, right? The aspect or the power of community, like in the sense, I know not everyone has the time to participate. We want investors into PG, perfect, but there is going to be a lot of you that want to make it big in Web3. Like I see a few of you guys here, and I straight up recognize you as Gen 2 holders, or PG Vox holders or Genesis holders, who are working as collab managers, who are working in their own project, who are working in their own product. Just thinking about how PG was started, it wasn't an easy job because we didn't have the connections. I wasn't an influencer. We had to build everything from scratch. We have to build, literally the entire building has to, be from the basement. It takes months and months of development, and still there is no guarantee that there will be enough reach. Like if some of you, like Capo is here, he wants to, launch a product, for example, and I see Chris2 here. Chris2 is also, I think he's if I'm not mistaken, part of a couple of teams in Web3, collab manager, whatever that could be. It's not easy for people to, let's say, make it without a support or a platform. It's not like impossible, but it's just really hard. And some of you might have money, but no time, right? Some of you here, I don't think our whales are here, like Jonas Blaine or Papa Conning. These guys are worth, like, they just hold hundreds of ETH of just PG assets alone, and big, let's say, like, investors, but they don't have the time to run their Web3 project, but they have access to funds, for example, right? Like for which they're not just looking to buy NFT projects, they're looking to even, like, let's say, participate in other, products, for instance. So which is why we want to be that platform. We want to give that platform to you guys, where you can either be a consumer by supporting the product in your faction, or you're just being a holder, where PG will be supporting in terms of marketing and other aspects. PG taking a small equity to ensure that PG grows as a brand and supporting products coming in from the community, and at the same time bringing the attention to these whales, who could potentially be interested in funding your product and taking up equity. Like you post a proposal or an idea after the fusion, and it could catch the eyes of few of the Genesis or Gen 2 whales or holders, who could potentially be part of you, who might be interested to be part of the team, or potentially fund it, or PG ourselves looking for funding the product or something, and in return taking a small equity. So you guys keep running it. We help you with the platform, and overall, who's going to benefit? The entire PG system. So what if you may ask, what if I don't have money? right? Like being a single Gen 2 holder, right? What if I don't have money? What if I don't have time to start a Web3 project? How am I going to benefit? So all these products that's going to be developed with the help of PG, through PG, or having an equity in PG, the 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 utility of that product, whatever that could be, whether it's money or whether it's whatever use cases for the tools or platform access, is going to come back even to the single Gen 2 holders, just for being part of PG. So we want to not just be a builder, but also promote the building aspect within the community. We want to attract those people who want to be collab managers, who want to be influencers, who want to be artists, who want to be anything in the space. Except Bored Apes, we are pretty much connected with almost anything you want, like venture capitalists, angel investors, devs, and literally, right? And we're not leveraging our reach or network. We want to provide this because a lot of them DM me asking to, like retweet. I think you guys may know, you might have even heard of, things like this where, like, I'm not an influencer, but technically people still reach out to me asking me to, let's say, retweet something for pay and stuff like that, or come on spaces and they're happy to pay and shit like that. We normally have been not taking any of this, right? Because we don't feel it's right. Like, it just seems like advertising, and we have never taken it, in fact, right? So the fact is that we want to give this opportunity. So instead of these guys just, if they got a good idea and they want PG's reach, now all they got to do is buy a Gojira Gen 2. I'll just show you something, how much people are willing to pay, so that you guys get an idea of what range we are talking about, like in terms of like how much people are willing to pay for a retweet or a post. And now we're going to divert all that to a PG Gen 2 or a Fusion, or as a basic level PG Gen 2. So simply put, you want PG's networking or marketing, or to get on spaces, or to support your product or something. You want to put a proposal. If people are going to see this, going to get attention, then we are going to come in and leverage our Twitter, leverage our reach, leverage our network, and leverage our connections, which has been like, it's going to streamline a lot of things for all these guys reaching out. They don't need to reach out to me and ask me to retweet or something. They just become a part of the community, buy a Gen 2, post the proposal. You guys vote for it if it makes sense, because we don't want to promote some shitty product. We just want to promote, let's say, a product if you think that makes sense, and if you think that that the proposal gives enough benefit to you as holders. And if majority of you vote, then we're going to take it up. We're going to run spaces, couple of spaces, few retweets, connect with other projects if needed. It's a win-win situation. Like, there's always an exit liquidity for the NFTs. There's a real use case for NFTs, and also at the same time we are getting benefits for our community, right? So for example, right, simply put, there's a thing called ClubX, right? I was reached out by ClubX, and all I told them, he wanted some help, and he wanted to pay $900 for one retweet, right? And they wanted about like 5 or 6 retweets. It's a product that I checked, and it was amazing, right? Because I personally like the product, because it's a Web3 social media that involves WhatsApp, Discord, and Twitter all at once. And I did a background check, and CTO of Artifact, right? CTO of Artifact is part of it. He's part of he's an investor, and he's also behind the team. And these guys, they reached out. They wanted us to pay $2,900, right, for a couple of retweets, right? And what I told them was, guys, this product is amazing. You don't need to pay me. Get a Gojira Gen 2, right, for that money, or a couple of Gen 2s, and I'll do the same, and you give us benefits for the PG holders, like, give them, they're only picking up very few communities, give us access, give us few, early access, give us, like, some extra utility in the platform, and pretty much that's it. Like, check all the products or projects that they've given access to in this tweet. It's not like some random projects. It's been Doodles, Artifact, Azuki, and then Ape, and then Gojira. Right? If you see the tweet, they're only given access to 5 to 6 communities, and PG is one of them. And they reached out to pay us for a retweet, right? And we just diverted, and they're more than happy, because now they have an NFT in hand, plus they're getting this access. And it's not a money that's burnt, but rather the money is not like they've lost the money, but it's actually sitting as NFT, which they can sell. I don't care, but at least they're buying. There's an exit liquidity for somebody. They're buying. They're probably going to hold because of the respect they have for the project and stuff like that. But just think of this for once. We haven't even marketed this, but think of this when I say, guys, you got an amazing product. You get into the PG ecosystem, you're going to get all this. You don't have to pay me X US dollars or any of those, for those promotions. And this is just one of the guys that have reached out. And I don't read a lot of my Twitter DMs because of a lot of DMs coming up. But trust me, there's so many people that keep sending, $500, $700, $1,000, $2,000 for retweets, couple of spaces, or having Discord AMAs. That's part of their marketing, scheme, right? They catch up few of these influencers. I think you guys know Sybil does a lot of these, and what is it, almost everyone, a lot of them do this, right? So it's nothing wrong. It's almost like an advertisement, right? But it's we don't want to just take it up just as an advertisement. But check this, right? For example, I'll just post it here. I think Shiv is probably here. He probably would have got offers like this as well because he's got his own following and things like that. But anyone with a small amount, even with a small amount of following, normally gets this. Look at this. This was just recent, like couple of weeks back. $750 for a retweet, $1,000, $400 for a tweet. We usually ask for 2 or 3 retweets and 1 tweet, and they pay you per retweet and tweet. So this is pretty much the offers that we have got, and we were thinking, how do we channelize this? We are getting all these offers, we are not making money out of it, and we don't want to make money out of this because tomorrow it can turn against us. It can be like, oh, Shan or PG is taking money and they're promoting some random stuff. So we check, we inquire, we see how much of benefits we can get for our holders, and instead of paying us, buy a Gen 2. That's it. That's pretty much our what to say, one of the things that we thought about, right? So tell them I'll retweet that much. Super dope, I'll do it for half that. So yeah, exactly. So we haven't technically marketed any of this, but now we want to streamline all these things into a much easier way for people to understand. You want to be a collab manager, and getting access potentially to even PG collab network, which is one of the best in the space. I think undoubtedly, one of the best collab networks in the space, like getting early accesses and helping or working together just by holding one of the fusions, for example, or even being a gen holder or whatever that could be, or you're a builder or creator. So this is how the idea stemmed. And this is not something that came up just a month back. This is something we've been thinking from the time we announced about fusion 7-8 months back. But we were just thinking of what could be the best way to move this forward and how do we monetize this and keep it a circular economy. That's the most important part. So anyways, I'll stop here. I'm going to let Ken and Kemuri, the guys behind the Medium article and the marketing, talk more about the fusion, the circular economy, how it's going to benefit us as PG. So 3 main people that we're looking to benefit is the holders, passive holders, active holders, right? Passive holders, the ones who just want to buy and hold and get benefits. The active holders who want to buy to build, and PG as a brand so that we also make money. And the third one is the faction leaders or the faction team members to make it more incentivized and make it more fair for them. So 3 major benefits, as I said, PG as a whole with equity and profits. Number 2 is active and passive holders, and number 3 is basically the faction leaders or the faction team leaders who are going to run the or rather monitor the factions and stuff. How they're going to get benefits. And how do we ensure that this is going to be sustainable and create a circular economy? That's pretty much what these guys are going to talk. Right. So, yeah, Ken, I think I'm going to let you take over from here.
Kemuri is actually going to start. So
okay. All right. Sure.
I'll let him go first.
You guys hear me?
Yep, you're good.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, thanks a lot, Shan. Thanks everybody for joining. And yeah, I also wanted to do a shout out to Tata. Like, he's been really helpful to the marketing team, coordinating with Sav and us to do the raids. So we really appreciate you, man. Like even answering on Discord, your availability on weekends and stuff. So I'm not sure if you're here, but yeah, like we really appreciate like everything that you do for not only the community but also for the marketing team as well. And yeah, I think many of you, or maybe some of you, had read the Medium article about the Fusion DAO. And can you guys hear me? I saw that somebody said I got rugged.
I think I can hear. Yes, all good.
Okay, so maybe Don Pute got rugged. But yeah, where was I? Yeah, I think some of you read the Medium article and really wanted to appreciate Naiku. Like Naiku's been a beast, like working a lot of actually what you read. We kind of spent many hours over the last couple of weeks brainstorming, strategizing, thinking about, you know, how to operationalize this whole thing together with Ken, myself, and Naiku. So if you guys see Naiku, just like in the channel, like please appreciate that guy. Say hey, thanks for all of your work. Since I'm sure it's like really late his time right now. But yeah, getting into it, like we're really excited about Fusion because as Shen said, like we really think that everybody can win. Whether you're a holder, you're going to benefit a lot. You're like an investor who you get equity. Whether you are a builder and you want to become a leader as a builder, and I think PG would love to be able to enable this sort of entire ecosystem and
Camry, sorry,
hopefully.
Camry, once again, sorry. I don't know if we are recording it. If any shit, I think I forgot. Did anybody start it before? Which
Did anybody
Yeah.
record?
I forgot. I mean, I just started the me bot.
I asked Sojay to record the meeting, and it's being recorded.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, yeah?
Good
perfect,
job.
man.
Okay,
Oh,
thanks a lot, man.
And definitely a shout out to Solji. I don't know if he's here. Yep, he's been doing this week in and week out. I mean, like, thanks a lot for that.
Yeah, thanks, bro. Like we will definitely be putting those recordings out later for others can hear. But yeah, as I was saying, we hope that, you know, what we said in the previous Medium article and what we talked about in a couple of AMAs ago is that the vision was not not only that we're fusing NFTs, but it was really fusing the community and the company together. And we hope that you guys are starting to see that come alive. And for those who didn't join the previous AMA, I just wanted to give a quick, how do you say, recap of one portion of it for those who might have missed it, right? So there was one aspect where we said there's going to be profit sharing opportunities, right? So again, Fusion is going to benefit multiple different types, and there's different types of builders, right? There are certain builders who are connectors. And there are some connectors who are great at they're able to connect projects together. They have contacts within founders, and I've spoken with a lot of you where you jump into discords and your Gajira has power, your Gajira has clout and credibility in the space. And so as you know, we have numerous different sort of services that PG offers, whether it's like consultancy, launchpad, financial advisory, dev, you name it. So like if you introduce that as a business lead, you're going to get like 10% cut of that revenue versus say somebody who's not a Fusion holder, you know, they would get like 5% cut. So it's like if you're a connector type, I think that's really gonna like be a great gainer, but it's also gonna help you know, bring real fruit, like real revenue for your actual labors. And you know, we'll be punching out like a playbook on like, you know, how to help some guidelines, like how can you do that, as well as like some templates so that, you know, when you do get a potential lead, like how can you feed that idea back into the PG core team. So don't forget that there's like so many different ways to not just eat, but to kind of build up yourself as well. So I didn't want to make sure that you guys didn't forget that. But onto this specific part that we wanted to talk about. As you guys know, we've got 3 factions and we've got 3 DAOs. And each DAO, it's going to be like its own company. It's going to be like its own community-led sort of organization that's going to be led by leadership. And that's why, there's been a lot of questions in the Discord where it's like, hey, which faction is for builders or which faction is for traders? But like, we as PG didn't want to define how each faction should be, because we really think it's ultimately up to the community of that faction to decide the future of the direction it's heading in, as well as the faction leadership that decides the direction of it as well. So that's sort of one reason that this is really, it's a DAO, and it's going to be based upon how you guys want to drive it. But having said that, as you've read, each faction is going to have a leadership team, and they're going to be elected. And we believe sort of modeling behind, as PG core team, as you see the leadership team, we've seen strength around different core competencies, different skill sets in order to set foundation or to build, in order to kind of enable successive projects. 5 key people that each faction needs to elect. So it's going to have a CEO, a COO from an operations perspective, a CFO. We can all see the benefits and the why it's needed for somebody like Ken to kind of guide the finances for a team, for an organization. It's going to need a chief creative officer, and it's going to need a CTO. And it's going to be really interesting, actually, to see which leaders these factions elect. I think a lot of them will happen organically. Some folks will start to surface. And what's really interesting is that we've done a number of different sort of like surveys, and we see there's like a ton of talent that's either already quite visible, or some are quite hidden, because as Shan said, some are quite busy. But given the opportunity, some might be able to sort of step up and say, hey, actually, I've got more capacity. I'd love to see how I can help. But we really see this as like a win-win opportunity. PG expects, and we do see that these faction leaders are going to really facilitate a lot of growth for these DAOs, as well as for these faction and these communities. But these faction leaders are going to get benefits. So there's going to be key reasons why perhaps you might want to get elected. Like, you're going to get equity in basically everything that project, that DAO votes through as proposals that become projects. You're going to get a higher equity stake in the projects that go through. You're going to get a lot of access to the PG leadership team. So Shan and Jamie and the others, for, you call it coaching, you call it advisory. And yeah, it's like, we all know, like, even spending time around guys like Shan and Jamie, there's so much experience, there's so much knowledge, that it's like spending like 5 minutes with them is better than like spending 5 hours with anybody else. There's so much that we can learn and grow from. So that's a great benefit that you're going to get as a faction leader. And it's also a great like Web3 resume builder. Some of us here, maybe we're dabbling in Web3 from like an investment perspective. Some of are dabbling in because we want to grow our careers there. Some of us are trying to build like our own personal brands. And I can personally testify that, and you guys all know this, like I'm preaching to the choir, that the PG brand is so powerful. So, when I tell people that I have the opportunity to help PG, to work with PG, like it carries weight. And so just to round that out, we're really kind of looking forward to seeing who gets elected, who wants to go through that process of saying, they'd like to be a certain function, a CFO or a CEO that would like to be elected. But it's going to bring you a lot of benefits if you want to step up and to be part of that leadership team. So I'll pass it to Ken. Next.
Yeah, Kimberly, just one sec. I'll just, before
Sure.
it goes to Ken, Just to re-emphasize, because I think some might have missed, some have been chatting. So just quick re-emphasized on three major points. Is number one is the DAO is we are not gonna decide which DAO is for which, all right? Because I think that's been one of the major concerns for people. Like, which one do I choose? I don't want to be trader. Don't want to be this and that. So ideally, it's gonna start off. We're gonna provide the support and everything. It's gonna kick off, but what direction that you guys want to pick is going to be it's going to be the decision of the DAO along with the leaders, which could be wherever it could end up, or it could even be a mix of few things. The main reason to split is that when we get an opportunity, please understand this very clearly, when we get an opportunity, we provide everything first to Genesis, and we will provide to one of the factions, because in some instances they can provide X amount of use cases or utility only to 333 holders. We want to provide it to at least 666. So which means at certain points, wherever we are able to secure something for 333, we push for 666, but the next one is going to go to faction 2 and the third one will go for faction 3. So essentially the aim is Genesis will have everything, but faction A, B and faction C will have certain aspects split. Wherever possible, we are going to get it all for our holders, like say Alpha Sharks, for example, where Gen 2 holders and PG Genesis gets access, for instance. But a lot of products that we've been chatting with, they only want to provide for certain numbers. Anywhere from 333 to 666 is pretty much acceptable. So this is one of the major reasons why we want to keep it a bit smaller. But apart from that, the directions of the DAO, or what it's going to do, or it's going to be a mix of certain things, or it's going to be the builders economy or community or whatever that could be, is essentially going to be decided by the DAO. We will be, if you guys read the article, we mentioned about having this, we would support the DAO, the leaders and the members, almost like pretty much like guiding them through and helping them form their own leadership and community, plus at the same time gain access to equity in the products that's coming out from the faction. Let's say an X product is coming out from faction Sentinel, the faction leaders are going to get an equity percentage, right? And the leaders are going to get an equity percentage. PG is going to get an equity percentage and profits. And the best part out of this, legally, the profits that come out, or any amount that's being raised within the DAO, or whatever amount is coming in through certain DAOs, that amounts could be distributed back to the holders of that particular group, if the holders decide that they want to distribute the profits legally, because that's purely a DAO and almost like nouns, right, in that sense, where we cannot stop it, right? So if we are taking a percentage for the PG vault, and let's say there's 20 ETH coming out from X project, and 4 ETH is going to PG vault, 4 ETH is going to the DAO, Sentinel DAO, for example, because the products are coming out from there, and multiple products like this, say for example there's 30 ETH coming out of this, for instance, you guys can vote whether to invest that somewhere or distribute that money back to that particular faction holders, and we are not involved in it. It's a decentralized autonomous organization, so it's completely legal for in terms of profit sharing or profit division. Same thing applies for Genesis. In that sense, we're going to set up your own set of DAO and wallet, where any of those percentage that goes into that particular wallet could be voted for ETH distribution or airdrop or claim from a platform. So we would be helping in building all these platforms and whatever is needed. When the DAO members come up or the leaders come up and be like, Shan, this is what's needed, that's needed to keep it smooth and all those kind of things, we will have the funds. But primarily we are just kind of putting up a little bit of the responsibility or the leadership onto few people who want to build, who want to be part of this thing, and at the same time make money or have equity in the products that's coming out of the faction. I hope that's clear. It's basically to answer your question, can I as a faction leader take all the profits to myself? Exactly. If your faction feels like you're put in so much effort and you brought in all the value and you ought to take all the money for the leaders, and if they vote for it, what can we do? Right? There's nothing we can do. You vote and you take all the money. So it's going to be, as I said, it's imagine this as something where you guys are running it. You guys are going to have a product. We are purely going to support in terms of fund, reach, etc. But the ideas, responsibility of carrying out, responsibility of project management is going to come from you guys. We are going to be on the front end helping it come out as a PG product, right? Because this is the way that's going to be super sustainable, super rewarding for people, and at the same time, like, everyone can make money legally. Because right now, PG World, if I'm going to add drop you an ETH, it's screwed up for us. But it's a DAO. You guys make money from elsewhere or through the products coming out from that particular faction. You distribute amongst yourself. It's completely a DAO, so we can't do anything about it. So just to put you up there. Any questions before we pass it on to Ken? So it's the DAO chiefs that go to run for running dividends. Absolutely not. General, because the proposals can be posted by any anonymous person, right? The DAO leaders are not going to be the ones that are going to be endorsing or giving out the funds. It's going to be in a vault that's not just accessible. That's not just accessible.
Bud. It's too hot in here, but you're under a blanket, buddy. It's only.
Yep. So it's not something it's not something where the DAO leaders are gonna do anything. It's almost like, I don't know if you guys know how nouns work. I'll talk about it towards the end, how nouns work and some certain stuff that I'm gonna talk about. So yeah, I mean it's not gonna be DAO leaders. It's gonna be any anonymous person that can put a proposal, and if everybody votes, it is what it is, right? That's it. So you in your country, whatever is your tax, this thing, you gain some money. You declare it or don't declare it, it's on your responsibility, not on the DAO or the leadership side of things. So just wanted to tell that. Any questions before we go to Ken? All right, Ken, go for it.
Yeah, well, I think you kind of covered quite a bit, so I'm not going to talk or add too much more. But I guess a few points that I'll highlight. So firstly, I think there's maybe some concerns that there aren't enough builders in this community to make this work. And what I'd like to say in defense of that is just the fact that we put out the Jurling form. And we put this form out quite a few months ago. And I can tell you that we got 300 plus entries into that form. And people with backgrounds, you name it, legal backgrounds, finance, accounting backgrounds, technology backgrounds, consulting backgrounds, artists, all the people that you need in order to make a project. And all these people, they want to work for a project, help a project, do something in the Web3 space. So in my mind, like, I'd love to give all these people jobs on the PG team, but practically speaking, we just can't do it. So I feel like what we're trying to do here with the factions gives us this fantastic opportunity to build a framework in order to give all these people the opportunity to build something. And so on that point, I have, I guess, very little fear that there aren't going to be enough people who will want to build something and make something work and to build something in this space. Now, the second thing that I've seen a bit of in the chats is some people saying, well, I don't really care to build. I don't want to be a founder, or I don't want to work for a team. I don't really have the time. I have a full-time job. I have a family, etc., etc. So as Shan kind of covered, and one thing that we've carefully thought about is to ensure that for those who want to remain passive, for those who want to remain in the background, that you can and still receive significant benefits by being a part of the Fusion collection. And as Shan spoke to, that comes in the form of one, as projects arise, then whatever that project may be, it could be tool related, it could be some new collection that you'll get whitelisted for, it could be any sort of utility. And those benefits will come back to your faction in some premium manner and also be spread out to the rest of the PG community. So whether you're a Gen 2 or possibly even a VX holder, right? These benefits will trickle down to everybody in the community. Now, specifically, how DAO members will benefit and what kind of duties they'll perform. So one, like Shan mentioned, all the proposals, like anybody in the DAO can form a proposal, right? In terms of what gets approved, well, then that's going to take some work and you'll need to get some support behind you in order to make that proposal pass. Secondly, you'll have a role to vote for these proposals, right? So anytime a proposal comes up, you'll be saying, yes, I like this idea, or no, I don't, and I don't think this is what we should do. Yeah, and I think like myself, like Kimuri and a lot of others who have joined the team, we've all gone through this sort of life cycle in the Web3 space where we start off grinding for whitelists and looking for those flips and just trying to make money here and there. But I think for some of us, the more time you spend here, the more you want to dive deeper and really become part of this new frontier in technology and be a part of something bigger. And this is really something that I feel that is going to give you an opportunity that not many other projects can give you. So I'm just super excited about it, and to be honest, that's one of the main reasons why I became such a big part of this project, which I never planned to. And I've invested a lot of time along with the core team, Kimuri and Naiku, on this initiative. And like I said, I just think it's going to be so amazing, and I can't wait to see all the projects that could potentially be coming out of the factions. Now, when it comes to DAOs, there are lots of DAOs out there, and Shan's gonna kind of leak very shortly after I'm done about one of them and why that's important. But before we get to that, there are lots of DAOs out there, but what's gonna make our DAO different? Right. And I think the one of the big differences is really the advisory, the support that the PG team, the core team, and the extended team can really provide to the DAO leaders and to any project that arises. We've spent a year in this space building a project. And as you all know, Web3 space moves at 3 times the speed of in real life stuff. So yeah, it's just kind of a tremendous amount of learning that we've all experienced, and we're in this position to kind of pass that learning on to the rest of you. And what that means is that we can connect you to expertise and subject matter expertise in our marketing team and our collab managers within Money Minds, within our Launchpad team, which we're calling Jira Accelerate, to our devs in Infinity Studios, et cetera, et cetera. And last but not least is the funding aspect of things. Okay, so money is going to be a big part of how and when these projects launch. And in some cases, I think that these projects will be able to bootstrap from the ground up with very little funds. And that's how PG and Gojira did it, with essentially 15 ETH in the beginning. So that's definitely possible. But in the case where the project and the product that's being developed requires funding, then we can leverage our network. And that's one of the great things about where PG is now. We speak to VCs on a regular basis. They reach out to us, and we'll be in a position to connect these DAO projects to those VCs. Okay. I think profit distribution, I think this is something Shan's already covered, but just to kind of go over it again, and I think one of the things that will really drive how this benefits everybody in the ecosystem is, and again, this isn't kind of in stone and may change as things develop, but how we've envisioned it is, if we were to split up the equity of a project, 60% would go to the founding team, 15% would be coming to the PG project vault, right? And I think that's in exchange for, as Shan said, the marketing support that we can provide. That might be from tweets, what have you, the brand that's coming.
Ken, one second, sorry.
Behind. Yep.
Sorry, can you just share your screen with the Medium article? I'm pretty sure majority wouldn't have read. So just share the Medium article, just showing that that
pie
part
chart?
of the pie chart. Yeah, pretty much.
Well, let's copy and paste it first.
I'll do that. Just you share it. I'll
share.
I'll put a screenshot. Yeah. Okay. All right. Perfect.
Right, so 15% to PG for the brand, the team support, etc. That comes from us. 10% will go to the DAO that's controlled by that particular faction where the project comes from. 5% will go to the DAO leaders, and I think that's a tremendous incentive. And finally, 10% for Gen 1 holders. And as kind of the highest tier in our ecosystem and the sort of the investors of our project, I think that's a great way to reward them as early adopters, investors into PG, such that they'll receive 10% into their own DAO wallet, right? So this isn't a wallet that's controlled by PG. This will be a wallet that's controlled by Genesis. So I'm going to pause there. I don't know. I haven't really been watching the chats. So if there's, I don't know if we want to answer questions now or wait till the end.
Just kind of re-emphasize again in layman terms. This means that if there is 3 products coming out from 3 different factions, and 10% of that, let's say, is going into faction A because it's coming from faction A, and 10% of that is going to faction B because the product's coming from faction B, and finally the third faction is coming up with their own product, for example, and 10% of the funds is going there. These funds are controlled by you as faction holders, and Genesis Vault for all these 3 will be getting 10% each. So ideally that adds up to 30% for the Genesis and 10% each for the Gen 2 fused. So in a way, it's a 1:3 ratio in that sense. So even if Genesis holders do not contribute in any way, just putting an example here, and the products are being developed by or through a PG faction, 10% still keeps going on to the Genesis. And any product that's being developed by the Genesis, the entire percentage falls into the Genesis vault. So this number or this percentage or this amount of money is completely controlled by the DAO or the holders of that particular faction or that particular Genesis or this thing. So as Genesis holders, just a very theoretical assumption or very in a very conservative way, assuming there's 6 products coming out in a year totally, 2 from each faction. I'm just saying an end of year, and assume even it's making each product is making 10 ETH or something. Genesis Vault will end up with roughly say 60 ETH, for example, and faction vaults would each end up with 20 ETH each, for example, right? This is pretty much the just a very simple math for you guys to just think or understand. If you're going to come and ask me, Shan, is all products going to be successful? No one knows which product's going to be successful. No one knows that. We are in a very new. I hope as you as people also understand that we are in a very very new space. That's Web3. No one knows for sure. Is there anyone here that 100% is certain other side is going to be a hit? If you are 100% certain, then you'd probably put all your money in other side and wait. But no one is 100% certain about anything. So just putting it out here that this is going to be products that we're going to develop. We're going to co-develop together, come up with solutions, come up with tackling problems, products that just think about how Azuki or Bored Apes, a lot of these Azuki holders create products, but technically they do not get any support from the founders themselves because their way of working is different. It's not putting any project down. It's their way of working is different. Their intentions are different. But here we want to do this thing where our holders build a product, but we want to support it. Where there's a direct support from the founders. It's a DAO with a direct access or support to founders in that sense, rewarding Genesis holders, irrespective of not doing anything, but because them being the highest tier membership. So essentially, it's a 3:1 ratio just for that particular aspect alone. Where a product created by the faction, still the 10% keeps going. So this pie chart just take a little bit of time. I really would at least expect you guys, if you can spend a little bit of time going through at least the infographics in the Medium article, even if you don't want to read. Just read the infographics. It's probably going to take you less than 5 minutes. But it's also about the tapping into the pride aspect, calling yourself the CEO of Sentinel Renegade of Sentinel faction of PG. You have your official title. We're gonna have websites and stuff with all those details. Building your Web3 brand, building your Web3 name, reaching out. You can have your, you can do a lot of stuff in that way, right? So just putting it out here, just in a simple numbers terms. All right, that's it.
Yeah, Marie, I'll hand it back to you.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I don't have a ton to add. I think most of it has been addressed. Maybe just kind of a couple of things to sort of bring it home a little bit. One, I think, how do you say? Shan said it well. Like anybody who comes from like startup land knows that for every product that's launched, there's so many others that fail. And that's sort of the nature of like innovation. That's sort of the nature of how do you say, pioneering sort of a new space. And so we've considered a lot of that, and we're not just kind of kicking off the DAOs and like, okay, let's just see how it goes. We've talked a lot over the last long time on how do we set some good foundation. How do we work hard to enable as much long-term success as possible? And I've been a part of like innovation teams. I've led them. I've been in incubators taking products from 0 to 1, and there's sort of a balance of, how do you say, freedom / a little bit of process, if you will, that allows them to succeed and to flourish. And so we've touched upon some of those things in the medium, but like we'll be working on the right, how do you say, enablers, like voting, like documentation, like what are the policies in place that will, you know, allow you to have certain, how do you say, equity, abilities, this and that. We also want to kind of cultivate a life of the community as well, right? So we're gonna kind of kick things off with some kind of activities that will be pretty fun, but we think like worthwhile, so that the community can, you know, begin to take shape. You can start to see sort of the life that it begins to form, some of the folks that begin to surface naturally. So I think that's going to be a great opportunity to begin to see like what sort of folks might be the natural leaders, what sort of folks might want to like themselves. And then over the course of the next sort of month or so, of course, we want to get into having you guys elect those leaders. And then maybe in the next, say, couple of months to begin to see proposals, you know, being pitched and voted on. So, how do you say? In order to build these things well and sustainably, it's going to take a little bit of care, if you will. And obviously, I know you guys don't expect it, but you can expect like on day one, okay, we're just like pitching proposals and immediately, you know, they're going through. So in order to start things well, I think we need to do them in the right way. But yeah, just to kind of to wrap it up, as Shan said, we
Sorry.
really have built it in a way where it's a circular economy. We truly believe that this is going to allow everybody to win. And Web3 is sort of, it's a weird space whereby I think many of us have developed this idea where there are winners and there are some losers. I think from a trading perspective, you know, there's this zero-sum game. And I know Ken talks a lot about it. I think about this a lot, but it's not about winners and losers, but it's how do you have like an infinite game where everybody can win. And at least I can acknowledge from a Web3 perspective, you know, for as long as that I've been in part of it, what I've learned is that where I've extended my help, where I've extended my sort of talents first, it always leads to something interesting. It always leads into some interesting connections, conversations, and ideas spin out into potentially products. And so we think this isn't a winners and losers thing, but we think that efforts are going to pay dividends, and we'll see that over time. And it's circular. So, you know, holders, as you heard, you're going to be like early investors. So even if you don't have the time, there's going to be value for you. You'll be just simply by holding, you'll have equity stake, you'll get benefits, you'll get profit sharing. The DAO builders probably will get very, very great benefit because, you know, you get the full support of the PG team, you get the PG push, you get the marketing push, and then PG gets to be a part of enabling the ecosystem around it. So, but yeah, that's everything from me. I'm gonna pause and Shan, if you wanted to kind of give any comments as well.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go on to the and also go find. It's a pretty major announcement. I hope you guys appreciate it as well, in the sense like I am. I'm pretty excited. I think the few who knows about it has been pretty excited as well. So, anyways, the first thing first, for the one who asked the question, why even Fuse and why not just do it like a scholarship program? It absolutely doesn't work. And please understand that this is a separate side of benefits for Fusion. The main benefit for Fusion is, as I mentioned multiple times, it's easy access. Try to understand that why Genesis gets a lot, like, pretty, cool accesses for certain aspects is the small number, which we want to emulate even on a different scale, or at least on a tier 2 scale, for example, for for non-Genesis holders, for example, right? So as I said, like, if each faction will get, like, say, utility 1, utility 2, utility 3, but Genesis could get utility 1 plus 2 plus 3. These are not products developed by PG, but I'm talking about giving access of products from outside PG. So this is, that's, just want to re-emphasize that. So number 2 is, okay, so you guys might have seen me buying nouns today for about 35 ETH, right? 34 ETH. Just in case somebody missed this. This is the Twitter here. So just want to talk a little bit about nouns, and this is something we've been researching about for a while, and few Genesis holders, Gojira Genesis holders are also nouns holders, or vice versa. And nouns is pretty much, like, I think Bones is here. I'm not sure if Ben is here, but Aussie guys who are also PG Genesis holders, and also nouns holders, obviously. So let me just talk quickly about nouns so that you guys first understand, right? I'm gonna oh shit, it doesn't allow me to share my screen. Oh god. Can you share this screen of nouns website? I'll just,
Yeah.
like, I don't know,
Okay.
my Discord is not letting me do it. All right. So if you see nouns, right? If you so this pretty much is a noun. So what nouns does, if you see on the top left, there's 28,692 ETH, right? So what nouns does is every day they drop one nouns a day, all right? And people can auction or bid on it, right? So the bids prices have been 30 to 40. That's pretty expensive and stuff. So it's what happens is automatically all the funds, right? So this on Jan 7, it's gone for 47, 33, 35, 39, whatever. So all the funds that's being raised here, automatically, it's a DAO. Automatically, the funds go into the treasury. So if you see the treasury there, there's 28,692 ETH there, right? That's roughly about $35 million. Can you click the proposal page? The nouns proposal. I think if you click the treasury button on the left, it probably takes it there. Nope, sorry, it's at the scan. Just go to the nouns.wtf/proposals, or
I think if you, yeah, you go.
yeah, that's fine. All right. So what happens is people, it's completely a decentralized thing. So there's not like, any founders or something managing this. It's purely automated, and anyone that's got 2 nouns can post proposals, all right, to get access to this funding. So a lot of these proposals get funded by nouns. It could be a whiskey brand that, like, that you want to do. It could be anything, and you could be a music artist, you could be a restaurant owner, you want to just expand with a little bit of nouns, marketing for it. They don't expect any equity. They don't expect any equity or any paybacks. It's purely to promote the brand and help nouns as a brand. Oh my god.
Take it somewhere.
Yep. So, yeah. Oh shit. Yep. All right. So basically, right. So people actually vote. But the key thing here is that anybody has to hold 2 nouns to participate in proposals. So if they've existed for more than a year and a half, and you can see there's only been like about 200 proposals, because a lot of them buy it, and there's only everyone who's got a two nouns can essentially participate in the proposals. A lot of them get executed. There's $100,000 to $1 million to $500,000 or whatever, and technically there is no equity or expectations from it. Purely that the expectation is that your proposal has to be nice and neat, and that people can vote for it, nouns holders. So what we are doing here, one of the nouns I'm buying with my own funds, right? So here, for example, this particular one, which got executed, 143 was for, 108 was against. It went forward. The person got the money. All right, they got the funding. They got how many ever ETH they asked for, 100 ETH or 50 ETH or 200 ETH or whatever that was, automatically gets transferred to the wallet, the proposed wallet. They've asked for 1,000. Oh my god! All right, 1,000 ETH has been accepted in a recent time. So you guys can see what proposals I've been going through. So we had a chat with all these people from Nouns, few of them, and stuff. So we are probably the first project as a one major project to do this. So one of the Nouns I'm buying from my own funds with me and Jamie together actually, and another Nouns we are buying from the PG's vault. All right, so 35 ETH. So these two Nouns together, we're going to allow access to all PG holders to post proposals in Nouns, right? So what I mean by that, so there is going to be, this. So basically, we are going to give access to you as holders to post proposals first in PG, and you as holders, you upvote or downvote. And if the proposals get passed in PG, we are going to post the proposal on your behalf, take a small equity for PG for us to grow, and pay a small amount for the faction leaders. But essentially, this means we are technically or theoretically have access to 28,000 ETH without having to buy a noun. So you as PG holders do not have to buy a 70 ETH investment noun or something to get access to these funds, but essentially we are going to help you, guide you, and at the same time we do not care if the branding is Nouns, because as they want that way, or it could be even a joint Nouns XPG branding, but essentially it has to have Nouns branding. We do not care about that, right? We want small equity, we want to help small time guys, like people who only have 1 ETH, for example, right? How would you get access to Nouns? They've got like so much of funds, sitting there with amazing ideas. There are people here with amazing ideas with no chance for funds, and we do not even have 28,000 ETH, and no matter what we do, we cannot reach that much of amount, like at this stage. I think it's richer than a lot of majority of the projects out there in the space. So I think it's a fantastic opportunity that when we announce this publicly, for a 0.8 ETH Gen 2, you can post a proposal, and if the proposal passes through Gen 2 fused or Genesis holders, it's going to be there in the Nouns proposal, and if it gets accepted, there you're going to get the funds to build your product as you want, right? So yeah, pretty much, right? So that's as I said, I do not care about the the branding being Nouns, but we are going to have our own branding in that sense, like where PG's equity keeps growing and PG holders equity keeps growing. And PG holders access keeps growing because they give the funds, they give the once we do the proposal, and we are the ones who are controlling the controlling factor when the funds come into PG's wallet, right? Because only we hold the two Nouns to go for it. So this is where we feel is going to be a major thing. If people don't understand the intensity of it, every single day people are spending 35, 40 ETH buying a Noun, and essentially you don't need to do that. You're having this as an extra utility just for being a PG holder, right? For getting an access into an ecosystem for like 0.8 ETH, or being a Genesis holders with priority to this Nouns proposal. It's still 1/4 or 1/5 the price of a Noun, and you're going to get the priority access as a Genesis holder for any of these proposals that get voted. So basically, obviously, our Genesis holders or Gen 2 holders need to pass it first here so that we can take up the top most voted for that week or that bi-weekly or monthly and post it on your behalf there. So yeah, I think Bones, in fact, you are one of the reasons we bought into the Nouns. But so yeah, it's like a charitable finance. I imagine they want to support your project and gain back their no, Capo, Nouns do not expect any amount to come back to them. Nouns do not expect any kind of loan repayments. Nouns does not expect any kind of paybacks. All they need is their branding. That's it. You don't have to pay back. You get that? Like, so Nouns main aspect is that they're not making. Why do they have to sustain? It's holders, man. You guys are not understanding the power of holders. Like, it's you guys who control. Like, why would I pay Azuki 10 ETH? Is not because it's Zagamon. It's because the holders are rich holders, right? They just believe in it. They all kind of come in together. They came across one of the worst FUDs and still they're going strong. At the end of the day, it's all the community and the belief and the principle. Like the idea that the founders are not taking money from Nouns and it's automated, and the chance for you to, post these things. And I think once I had this chat in Genesis holders, and somebody was like, I would happily pay I think it was Relic, if I'm not mistaken. He was like, "Yeah, I would happily pay. This seems fun. I would pay 40 ETH to get an access to draw proposals and vote for which projects go through and which projects do not go through." Right. So Nouns is not a Web3 accelerator. They are more like purely marketing. So in the sense they once approved 200 ETH for somebody who claimed that they can get Nouns on the suitcase in New York Fashion Week, right? So they just had announced Noggles, the glasses sticker on the suitcase, and it got approved because they wanted to holders felt that, for example, if I'm going to post tomorrow that you got access to F1 and you want, like, say, nouns in F1 because you got access to something like what Azuki did, and holders are so excited because how as a holder are you getting benefited except that when Azuki was in the car of Red Bull, how did you as a holder get benefited? You felt excitement. You got this thing that, oh shit, my NFTs are there in an F1 racing car and stuff like that. So essentially, Nouns, they're working purely on marketing and also for products like businesses. Like one of our Genesis holders, he's posting his own proposal. He's running a few restaurants in Melbourne, so he's posting a few proposals in Nouns for making Nouns branded or Nouns themed restaurant and stuff. So they don't make any monetary gain, and still people are buying. Even people like us, we are buying today, right? So more than a year and a half, every day people are buying. Me and Nate River kind of had a small, Nate Rivers, I think you may know him. Me and him, we kind of had a small bidding war going on today. So there's still people looking to buy, and every day there's 5 to 6 bids that's coming through for 30 to 40 ETH. So the concept is very nice. They're doing much more than 99.99% of the projects. The entry level is super high, so which is why we want to be the like the bridge between this thing. Like in this rate, they're getting 35 ETH a day, exactly. So they're getting 35 ETH a day, and it's not going to a bank, which is what we like, right? It's not going to a bank. It's all on chain. No one can control it except it's automated. As and when it's voted, the funds just go through, right? And also that we made a small calculation. The number of NFTs divided by the total treasury amount is much more than the flow, right? So that's a major this thing. So when you divide 28,500 ETH by 572, I think the ratio comes to like about 52 ETH. So even by book value, I think they're pretty undervalued in that sense. So even as an investment for PG Vault and as for holders. So I don't know how many of you understand the use case of this, but I think the more of the a lot of Nouns holders started following me and stuff. Now I think they probably a lot of those investors would understand let's say the importance or the value behind the Nouns and Nouns proposals. So we want to target a different set of audience as well. As much as the small fishes and stuff is one aspect of PG, we also want to target the big ones, the whales and stuff, gaining access into the Nouns ecosystem. Think of this, right? Every single Nouns holder has paid anywhere from $100,000 to $500,000. Because once upon a time, Nouns was going for 100 ETH when ETH was like $3,000 to $4,000. So every single Nouns holder is pretty much a whale, and they support each other, like in a bigger scale. So it's a major entry for them to see and learn about PG ecosystem as well. So yeah, I mean, I think Hustler, I don't know what he was expecting as an announcement, but I mean, it is what it is. So yeah, I think that's pretty much what we want to do here. All right. So any questions?
I got a question.
Yep, go for it.
Well, I got a lot of questions, but I'm gonna try to keep it short. I'm not gonna ask as all of them right away. So I mean, because there's so much to the fusion, and I feel like there's just a lot of questions, But so can I ask two questions? So one I think is important for the holders. It says that the Gen 2 is getting 10% equity from the DAO. Is that in ETH or in other assets or something like that? How does that work?
Either assets or ETH, and it's going to be a wallet that's going to be controlled by, it's pretty much like the Nouns wallet, but controlled by each faction. So the payments or any of those things through the product development or something, it's essentially going to be controlled by you guys. So you get an ETH payment from those products and stuff. It's going to be coming in as ETH mostly.
Oh, okay, that's pretty nice. Okay.
Yeah.
I
So
think people should be excited for that.
yeah, simply put, okay, I'm just going to use an example here. If there's a project like, coming out from PG holder, right, Genesis holder, and he's asking
Yeah.
for support with some idea and roadmap, and you guys are like, okay, this is a brilliant project or the brilliant idea. Let's say Kongu, for example, right? Kongu's a Gen 2 holder, and from day one, we've been supporting to whatever extent we can. He's an amazing guy. But for example, if he had gone through the proposal route, um, he's gonna give a proposal like 5% of the funds that I raise and 5 or 10% of royalties forever is gonna come back to this faction if you guys support me and like the idea. 5% of the mint funds after it's done, it's gonna come to the faction as ETH, right? So if he's raising 400 ETH, for example, for instance, that's going to be like about say 2 ETH or plus royalties that's going to keep coming in, or 20 ETH or whatever, like whatever percentage, 5% is 20 ETH, sorry. So it's going to come to the faction wallet, right? So you guys are launching a project, you guys are supporting the project because it's coming from PG and you like that idea. You might have an idea that, XYZ, that this is the utility, this is my thing, and like, guys, either you can be like, this art is shit, or your utility is bad, or whatever, you're gonna download, it doesn't go through. But what if this art is amazing, being an artist, and you love the art and you love the utility, and it's coming from PG, mostly it's gonna mint out because you guys voted for it and support it, and he's going to give a percentage of the funds back, which has never happened so far. We have been helping a lot of projects, even something like say Chubby Little Jiras, for example, right? Instead of them sweeping the Gen 2s, all they could have now they can do is we'll give you a percentage of funds back to this Genesis vault or the faction vault. Support us, this is our utility or this is our plan. That's probably going to be 30 to 50 ETH that's coming back to the faction vault. So it's not just about product, it's also about the project with roadmap mentioned there. You guys like it, you vote it, we support it, we run it, and you get the percentage back as ETH.
Okay, so my last question is building a project through the faction sounds really nice. I think that's one of the biggest features of Fusion. But I'm sure that many people I'm sure many people don't know all the ins and outs of creating a project. There's a lot of moving parts, like a lot of team members and stuff, so I'm wondering, like, my question is, how does faction contribute to project? Who's getting paid? You know what I mean? Like, is like the fusion holders within that faction all going to contribute? Like, whoever wins, everybody's going to work together to make that project successful, and PG is going to provide team members, or like, how does that work?
See, essentially, so this is how it works, Capo. So you have an idea, for instance, you're going to put your idea as a proposal, and you're going to put your requirements. You're going to be like, guys, this is what I need. I need 3 people, 1 dev, 1, Twitter manager, and 1 collab manager, for example, and that you might need some funding, or you are willing to share some equity or make them the founding members. Those within the faction or within the PG community, there's a lot of people that want to be a part of something. They're going to just DM you or reach out to you and be like, yo, I'm a dev, I can do this, give me a percentage of the mint after this is done. Because most of the projects, early projects, they don't get paid. Like when we started PG or even Kongu or any of these projects that's going on, none of them get paid till the project is dropped, right? They just want a share or an equity or a percentage after mint. Like, no one is gonna essentially, or you're gonna put like, guys, all I need is 5 ETH, right? I need 5 ETH, I need a dev, and I need an artist. So someone from the community or even PG, for example, if it's upvoted, we could come and be like, okay, we'll give you 5 ETH, but once your project mints out, you're going to pay us 15 ETH back. We are making 3x the money. Or some holder themselves could be like, yo, I can fund you 5 ETH. Can you dox yourself to me or shit like that? You have a private dealing by yourself. He's going to fund you 5 ETH or 10 ETH or whatever is needed. He becomes a founding member, or he takes a percentage of the mint funds or whatever that could be. It's going to be like multiple aspects. Like there is no defined way of how this thing has to run, because so far from what I know, thousands of projects have launched and none of them essentially pay people upfront, but rather they promise a percentage of the funds after mint, including collab managers. They promise some free mints and things like that. So there's a lot of people in the community that want to be part of a growing project. Like take for example, right, Kongu, right? Like how many Gojira holders would be happy to be part of Kongu as a team? Or even like Abs, take Abs here. He was part of a couple of projects. He was not even getting paid. He just wanted to build this experience. He wanted to be a collab manager, and they promised him like some ETH after that, like after 2 months or something, like whatever 0.2 ETH a month or 0.5 ETH a month or something like that. And potentially, and even he found us a project. And don't forget about one of the major utilities of Fusion, and this thing is also that you can find us projects, and we are going to pay you a percentage. So Abs found us a project for our launchpad, and he got paid 10% of whatever we got so far, right? So a lot of them work that way, right? A lot of them want to be in Web3. So many of them, we are underestimating the number of people. Why do you think people are even paying this much for nouns when all they get is access to proposals? There's 572 people that have paid 40 to 100 ETH. It's because it's not like everyone is a builder. They just like the concept, and they feel that the value is great, that when you need access to funds, and everyone thinks their idea is brilliant, right? So if really your idea is brilliant, you almost have unlimited access to funds now. So it could be help from us itself, PG itself. It could be private, which could be myself or other VCs or other connections that we got, or it could be through nouns, or it could be even holders. If your idea is really good, I don't think anyone's going to say no. You're like, take even guys like definitely DJ, right? If idea is amazing or art is amazing, he's probably going to throw 10, 20 ETH into your project, and he's going to take a percentage. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, DJ, but you have been throwing into some random stuff. But I'm just saying that there's so many people here that have got money, that have got funds, but they're waiting for that, a moment to be part of a project, or throw at least funds in to make some money, or contribute in any aspect. And also same thing with VCs, right? All they are waiting for is an amazing idea. Either your idea is brilliant, you're going to get funded somewhere, or your idea is shit, so you rework on it, because 80%, exactly, 80% is not going to download if your idea is brilliant, right? So that's yep.
So, one suggestion I would say, maybe if you guys could give like a list of these are the key things that you need when starting a project.
Yes.
I mean, I have an idea. I've been around for a while, but I'm just saying, like, maybe that would help the factions to create a project and be more successful. You know what I mean? Like, okay, you need a dev, you need an artist, you need this, that, and a third. That way, we can look for those things.
See, this is what I'm saying, couple. What we cannot be, as in, this is what the difference between other DAOs and ours is. Nouns DAO, for instance, it's fully community run. There is no access to anyone with experience or connections directly from the team side, right? The founding team side, which is where you have the faction leaders for. You're like, this is my idea, you're brainstorming, and the faction leader is going to be like, bro, this guy came up every week. We have a meeting, and he's like, this guy came up, he's got this amazing idea. I think, how do we support him? And we be like, okay, let's us allocate, G for this. G can run it, or Amresh or myself. If the idea is really good, we ourselves could step in. Not all ideas have to go only by community. Some ideas, if it's good, we give you an offer. All right, PG will fund your entire thing, and we take 30% equity from this. Are you down for it? And you take a decision. It's almost like a Shark Tank in a different way. But sometimes we might even step in. Like, nothing is stopping myself stepping in and offering. Why would I be like, oh, this idea is amazing, but I'm not going to fund you? But I've got the money. Even if you see my wallet, I think there's even in my cold wallet's got 100 plus ETH sitting there. I'm not doing shit with it. So if I really like the idea, I'm going to fund it myself, right? So, all I'm saying is that there's multiple ways to get funded if your idea is good.
Nice. Well, I appreciate the info, Shan. I'm definitely going to pitch.
For sure, man. Of course. Yep. All right. Any next question? Guys, one thing you just think about, any project that you hold, think how you're going to get the value back. I'm not even going to talk about it. Your founders are going to become billionaires. How is the value going to come back? What's the end game, right? What's the end game for NFT? Just think about it. Yes, I know IP and all those things. If you're going to bet on a project for IP to build your brand, and you think 10,000 of collection of something with IP, and there's 10,000 builders because of the IP, then I think we shouldn't even be questioning about 333 people times 3 number of builders in the space. All right. Any doubts? If you want any clarifications about this, in short, in simple words, indirectly we would be getting access to, I mean, there's no other better way to put it, but indirectly now we technically have access to 28,000 ETH worth of funds that we can get if the idea is amazing. That's it. So PG also doesn't have to necessarily go to VCs anymore, right? So which means that we can essentially get funded by nouns as well if our idea is cool, which again is going to be a test for us. We think our idea is great, but with nouns, when we put our proposal, even for PG itself, without losing equity, we can still get funded and do a co-joined product development with nouns XPG to promote both the brands together. Maybe once we have everything set up already, we can create job opportunities for all Gojira holders to offer their services for Jira pitch product. All right, so let me just tell you one thing, right? I don't know if you guys, any of you saw my tweet a long time back. I'll just tell you, a long time back, I made a tweet about how a real utility for NFT, where all can win and not a zero-sum game, is probably having those NFTs as a requirement to work for a company that grows from scratch. Like imagine, like Facebook was completely created from scratch as a Web3 project, and there was 3,000 NFTs. And to be an employee of Facebook, you got to hold the NFT. So which means once you get selected, a small portion of your monthly salary, or your first month salary, requires you to buy a Gojira Gen 2 or Genesis, or the executives are going to require to have a Genesis. I think currently all PG executives technically have a Genesis, right? As a real utility, to be honest, where I think that's the only thing where all can eat, and all, it's not a zero-sum game essentially, and all 10,000 or 3,000 or whatever that, it's going to be bought up, right? Other than that, I do not see a direct use case for NFTs. I'm open for anybody to come up and argue here, whether it's about bases or Azukis. I just want to hear your thoughts. Like, what do you think about, or how do you think that's going to evolve, or why would, or are people just, you think people are just going to spend 1,000 ETH in the future just for flex, or are they going to expect some profit sharing or equity, or what is your expectation when you buy, let's say, a blue chip, right? So the thing is, like, for me, as for your question, in short, that's our aim. This NFT is essentially growing into, for two categories of people: the investors or the builders, or even the people like collab managers and stuff who are really important in the space. So investors just buy in; they trust that it's going to get more valuable, because to work for PG or to post proposals, you need a Gen 2 or Fusion and stuff, and etc. and stuff. So that's one set of people who just buy in for speculation, and one set of people who want access to actually build in the space, for which we need to promote heavily. Like what Bones told now. He wouldn't have bought a Nouns if we had got this idea a month back, because he was first a Genesis holder, and all he bought Nouns for was technically to post a proposal. Yeah, he loves the community, of course, but the point that he didn't buy two Nouns at this stage. He didn't have to buy a Nouns if PG Genesis or Genesis is going to get the first priority for proposals to be posted in Nouns. This thing, you don't need to. There are a lot of people that might shift from Nouns, maybe at least few percentage, to come into Genesis or Gen 2, and at the same time we are going to help Nouns as well to reach, because probably for a lot of you guys, you didn't even know about Nouns, and you're learning about Nouns right now because of PG and stuff like that. Some of you would still like to have ownership by yourself, irrespective of whether PG holds a couple of Nouns and giving you the same use cases or utility, because you might want to go into the chat. I don't think there's a chat, I heard, but you might want to have access to the forums or something like that by yourself. So things like that, you still are going to buy Nouns. So it's completely a separate this thing. So the aim for us is for all the Genesis and Gen 2s, or all PG assets, to have somewhat like a working asset in one way or the other, or treated like an investor, like the Genesis pretty much treated like an investor asset, and for Gen 2s, where you get an opportunity to work inside any of the products of the DAOs. Splitting project funds 40% dirt. The numbers, Capo, is purely, how do I put it? Like, it's just arbitrary, all right? In the sense, like, it is not the final numbers. It's going to depend on a lot of things. That's just for you guys to understand the percentage, right? So the proposal, when you want to make your proposal attractive and at the same time sustainable, you're going to work out the numbers. And if people like it, they're going to vote. If they don't like it, they're not going to vote, right? So at the end of the day, for someone who has got no access, now he's got like a major access. So he's compromising a small percentage. So it not necessarily has to be 40, right? It could be 20, right? But if your idea is like, for example, like, even if something like Ether, I'm just giving an example, right? Ether wants to win community support and he's just buying a Gen 2 or a Genesis should just be a part of community like Kyong's, right? For example, like he bought a Genesis recently and he's saying like, oh guys, I want PG support. I'll give 1% of the funds back to PG Vault. I'm just giving an example here. There 1% probably is okay because we know it's already hyped, right? But he's getting or winning the community support and he's being part of the community and he's giving back something to the PG community, or he's promising a small percentage of PG Gen 2s to be swept regularly to put on his Gashapon or things like that. So it depends on your proposal and it's not something where we are enforcing again. That's just, how do I put it, like almost like a guideline for you to follow, right? Because ideally we think a percentage or a ratio like that makes more sense because you do not have anything except idea, right? But you're going to put a lot more funds. If you see the asterisk mark there, we clearly mentioned that is only if and only if, assuming project is funded by, founders or bootstrapped, right? So it can change. Like, this is a percentage that we cannot enforce because it's a DAO again. So we cannot force you guys to do this or that, but a percentage has to go through so that PG as holders, they're not going to vote, or else you're going to be like, guys, I'll give you 1%. They're probably not going to vote for you for your proposal to come on the top, right? So it's how attractive you make it. What about the good one? I think just more than yes, no, depends on what, just so 50%, not everybody votes. Is Noun's been, how many days Noun's been going on? I think over 500 days. 577, yeah, almost 2 years, yeah. Technically, Don Pute, I think we have solved one of our biggest issue, yes, because we get an idea of how good our idea is. 100%. So, I mean, the nouns holders are also like, at the end of the day, they want, some amazing, products to come out that has got nouns branding in it as well, right? So, I see it as a pure win-win-win situation. So those who understand, I think, they're going to understand. If not, I think there is nothing wrong in what we're doing. I'm putting half the funds. Me and Jamie are putting half the funds, and only for like an undervalued asset, I would say, because purely by book value is being bought by PG, and we're combining that both and in PG's vault to run the proposals and stuff. So yeah, I think we have solved definitely one of our biggest issues for sure. Big 4 feet picks can get you a Gen 2. Exactly. And still people, that's why somebody posted, all you got to do is dump like 4 feet picks. When it was posted here, it was not even minting at the time. 4 feet picks and it's pretty much a Gen 2 in hand. For free mint. Yep, it's crazy. How can you avoid faction holders from paying for votes? That you're asking a question that hundreds of years no one has solved. How can you prevent people from voting for Trump, paying for Trump to get voted? Same thing. Like, you can't. If they're doing that, and if we get to know, we kick them out as faction leaders. So there's nothing we can do about it. Votes are fair because it's going to be on chain, right? It's pretty much you hold an asset, and every asset is going to give you a vote. Same questions can be asked for any of the votes or any of these things, right? So I think the voting issue has been an age-long issue, which is why we are here in blockchain. We're hoping that it's not going to be as skewered or as problematic as in real life. So I don't think people are going to pay for somebody to vote. It's 300 people. I don't know how. You need to get at least, let's say, 100 people plus to be saying a yes, at least, right? So yeah, I think It's crazy. Anyways, I think when we haven't announced this publicly yet, so we'll be making announcements over the next 2-3 days as a thing about the nouns and getting access, and let's see from there how people react to it. The outer crowd outside of PG as well, like I think a lot of non-PG, like a lot of them who didn't even know about PG have started following us and stuff after the nouns purchase as well, and a lot of whales and nouns, right? So which is one of the markets we definitely want to tap in. I'm hoping to. I'll be on Noun Spaces, I think, in a couple of days as well. They invited me even today, so I'll be on Spaces. For Noun Spaces. So there's going to be even more different set of people that we're going to reach to. So yeah, I haven't been doing a lot of Spaces because of the workload and shit. But yeah, we'll be starting after the fusion. We'll be starting on a round of AMAs and Spaces across the Discord and Twitter. Jamie has put a very amazing point. Yeah, not that everyone needs to be builders or innovators, but the fact that all of you are here with us, I do believe many of you want to be part of Web3 movement and gain from it. So that is where we'll move forward with you guys together. I do believe Web3 is early. Very early because not even 0.1% of the population has so far interacted with NFTs. Also remember, mostly early adapters are the ones that benefit. You do, and also I want to add to this point is that you do not have to be a builder or an innovator to enjoy the benefits. As I said, there's 3 types of people in any community. I don't know how many of you remember the tweet. Number 1, the ones that work without any expectations to fulfill or push the brand, right? The amazing ones, or let's say, the ones that are because of whom we are able to do a lot of things, like where a lot of them like Kemuri, a lot of them like Steve Naiku, they're on probably 200k, 300k plus jobs IRL. And they're coming forward, helping PG for $500 a month. And they're putting in probably hours of 30, 40 hours just because they love the brand, right? People like that, number 1. All 3 are important, by the way. So number 2 is the set of people that just buy in and they're silent because they just trust. Like somebody like Papa Conning, for example, contributes through buying the floor and investing because they trust and like the idea, but not necessarily contribute by coming in and modding or something like that because they're big people or whales IRL. So that's number 2, right? Number 3 is the ones that are pretty much the ones that buy in for the moonshot, right? Which is also needed because you need some people with high hopes and high expectations. And I say this, the reason why the number 2 is silent is because of the holder number 1. And the reason why the number 3 has a chance is also because of holder number 1, right? The holders like number 1, because you have a chance to moonshot because these guys are putting in so much effort. And for number 2, they are silent because these guys are putting in efforts and they're seeing that there's so much of work being done by the community. So all 3 are important. The ones that are really hard to manage are the ones that just FUD for no reason. They're pissed in real life. They're pissed that they put too much money into NFTs. They're pissed that they lost a lot of money with crypto or something because of their bad decisions. They come in and unreasonably question the projects with the unreasonably. I'm talking about reasonable questions versus unreasonable questions. We're probably one of the few projects that openly show everything and still people find faults in it. I'm not going to blame anyone, but I'm just saying we announced that 4 ETH plus buyers get Fusion for free without having Fusion without a second Gen 2, right? And 3 ETH buyers got pissed. And some of the 3 ETH buyers, they're like, why only 4 ETH? And we're like, guys, we did the numbers. 4 ETH plus came out to like 40 people. 3 plus ETH came out to like 100 people or something, or 150 people. So we first wanted to sort them out. We didn't even promise this. It's your decision that you bought the secondary. We're just helping you in some way. And yesterday also someone was upset because they had to pay Jira for it. Like Jira tokens, 1,000, they thought it's free. They didn't even want to be paying 1,750 Jira or something. As I said, I'm not going to blame anyone. The question is, like, no matter what we do, there's going to be a small percentage that's always going to be pissed because of their decisions. But we are going to keep moving forward. I'm not going to. Only thing I won't tolerate anymore is abuse towards our team members or any of the holders. We haven't banned anybody in a year, except recently we had to ban one person. One of the OG Genesis holders purely being toxic, and we couldn't bear it, so we had to kick out because so much of shit was going on. But we have never kicked out anybody, irrespective of the questions or irrespective of the annoying questions we have been thrown out at as well. But the thing is, like, we are also like a team. We are also humans. We are not getting paid like 200K or something like a year or some shit like that. We are doing our best. We're giving much more than what we can, and we're giving it our all to PG. Ask questions, give suggestions. We opened up the forums, but just try to be a bit reasonable with the teams as well, because like at the end of the day, like it's a new thing and everyone is giving their best. And if you have your DAO, your own community and your own factions, if you feel there's something better that can be done, show it to us. Be the faction leader. Show to us how it's done. We learn from you as well. There's no shame in that. There is no shame in accepting or learning from other people, right? So why you show us through your factions? We learn from it. We adapt. We improvise. We'd be like, oh, these guys are using these tools. It's making their work more efficient. Let's follow that. There's nothing wrong. I've never been a person who has got this ego or something, or any of our team members. We have accepted. We have given credits where it's due. Like Jira Cookout channel, we didn't think about it. Tata did it by himself, and I think Eric, Tata, and all of them, they came up, if I'm not mistaken. So they came up with that by themselves as a community member, and that's benefiting so many people now, including themselves. So yeah, I mean, like that's pretty much it. So yeah, just wanted to put it out here because I think sometimes, yes, it does take into my. I mean, it's kind of like sometimes it's all this work, and we guys, trust me, I'm not just telling this for sympathy or anything. Almost none of our team members, especially the marketing team and the core team members, we didn't have a Christmas or a New Year break, right? I'm not putting the blame on anybody. It's purely on us. A lot of things, yes, but the thing is, like, there's a lot of work and effort going into projects, not just PG. There's a lot of teams, a lot of projects that they're not just here to make money, but they're doing their best, sacrificing a lot of things. It's not easy. Even for us, we do have a lot of them have partners, wives, kids, and stuff, and they sacrifice a lot of things to get the change, the artwork, change the Medium article, write all those things down, and it's easy to find faults, but just kind of try to turn it into a constructive feedback or criticism, right? That's my request for anybody who's listening. Just try to turn it into a constructive criticism, instead of just coming out with all guns blazing and just trying to fud your own bags or kill your own bags. It's not going to help anybody, right? What's at the end of the day, who's going to gain it? Like, if you're just going to come and fud without an actual this thing, like, this could have been done like this, that could have been done this. Anybody who's told that, all I've told them was, can you just come and maybe work with us for a week and show us how things are done, see our work schedule, and see how we can improvise. I'm open for it. Any of them who think we can improvise in certain aspects, I think 100% I'm down for you guys to just be part of the team for a week, work with us. I'm 26. It's not like I've got like 30 years of management experience, but we got people like Ken with 20 plus 25 years of experience, Jamie with this much of years of experience, plus Ruben, Amrish with 10 plus. So everyone's got different ranges of experience, but you might be experienced more than us in certain aspects. Come and show us, like, if we want to improvise as well, so come and show us. We are more than happy to this thing. So all I'm saying is just just try to turn it into a constructive criticism, because at the end of a long week or a month of working, and if we see DMs or if we see comments that just are straight up disrespectful without considering any aspect of what the team has done, sometimes it just feels like, what is this, what are we doing this for, what, kind of thing, right? So it just kind of like can lower down the morale for a lot of people, even within the community or even the team members. So it's more of a request, if you guys can just keep that in mind. That's it. Was it confirmed that we could earn back a specific use Gen 2s? Yes, if you win a Gen 2, you can pay a amount of Jira X and you can claim what Gen 2 you want. So it'll be a vault that's visible for everybody. So you won a Gen 2, pay like X amount of Jira X and be like, I want to choose that. Or if you don't want to choose, or if you don't want to pay Jira X, or you don't want to choose, we'll go in the order of number or randomly pick some number and give it to you.
Yeah, I think the caveat is just if someone gets your Gen 2 first, right? Like that's possible.
Yeah, that is possible. If someone wins it first, I don't think I'm hoping people won't do that, because they normally, majority of them who would pay Jira X to claim one maybe like it, but it is what it is. Like, at least this is the least we can do for that. I got kicked once for spamming. Oh, that's an automated bot, man. I don't think we kicked anyone. Imagine being a Genesis holder in FUD. I believe there was one member early that was a collab manager and was taking whitelist for himself, and he was kicked. Yes, that is true. Yeah, it was a guy called Wind. One of the very, very early memories. Yes, we had to kick him out as well. Yeah, a lot of collab managers still do that. Definitely not in PG because we are tracking and we are keeping a lot of checks on it. And our collab managers, I fully trust them. These guys work 10x more than what they get for sure. So, but yes, initially, as soon as we learned that he was doing this, we immediately kicked him out. Like somebody was stealing whitelist spots by being this thing. Okay. I have numerous questions. Could be FUD related. Yes, DJ, go for it.
Yo, can you guys hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, good. Actually, I was typing out the questions, but since you actually like call out my name, okay, all right. So, for each of the factions, right? Let's say if someone is a council member, let's say for Sentinel, right? Is there like a rule in place like he can't actually be a council member for like Renegade and then like this Legion as well?
Yeah. Ideally, yes, because there will be some competitions as well, DJ. Like between the DAOs, we are planning some gamification, so throwing in some ETH or throwing in some NFTs. So there could be some competitions where it has to be a little bit within, the particular faction, and maybe you might like it could be as simple as a joint pitch that you guys can come and have a live pitch session for each faction, and you guys have to come up with the best possible idea. Whether it's doable or not is a second question, but best possible idea using blockchain to come and pitch on a weekly Friday night or something like that, for which it wouldn't be nice if the leaders or this thing exactly know about it. There could be a chance where there could be a small snake or something who's part of all three factions that could leak some stuff. That is possible, but at least the leaders, we ideally would want them to focus on one particular faction.
Oh, okay. Okay, then for OpenSea, right? Will the Gen 2 fuse, right? Will it be like a separate collection from this current Gen 2?
Yes, it will be a separate collection. That's right.
So it actually will be like 999 supply.
That's right. Yes.
Okay. All right.
In case you guys didn't know, just to let you know, we have something called as opensea.com.io.pg. There's only like few projects that have got this thing, like it's a direct link to the PG collections as such. We just, as I said, like we just need to use this link. And the marketing side, guys, we are definitely understand the concerns that's come through, and just that we definitely will be pushing through with these products coming out. So in this PG side, in this single link, all the collections would be there, and on our website we would be linking individually to each collection with all detailed info or utilities that comes with each of the collections. So it'll be pretty much more detailed than what website we have now, in the sense like we wanted to get it out. We learned one thing is that if you keep waiting for perfection and stuff like that, it's going to take forever to launch a product. So which is why we are going to move with 80-20 rule. So as long as we feel 80% a product is ready to go out to the market, we're going to launch it to hold us, because it just keeps delaying. If we try for that 99, it's really, when we're about to launch, there'll be somebody coming up with an idea and we'll be like, oh, this idea is cool, let's add this as well and release. It just keeps adding on and on and on. So we're just going to follow the 80-20 rule. So there's going to be a lot more info on the website and a one-stop shop. A lot of channels from the Discord is also going to be removed and moved onto the website for information and things like that. G's been working on it. I don't know if he wants to talk about this today. G, like the changes that's coming up, the very important changes that's coming up, Discord-wise, information-wise, and onboarding new users and things like that. That's been one of the major issues. There's so many people. I think you guys would have also had an experience. They're like, oh, we want to join PG, but we don't know what's happening. We just know that it's a good project, but we don't know what to expect or what's coming or what's happening. There's so much of info spread here and there, so much of things coming out, but we don't, like, not a consolidated place to find kind of thing. So That's one of our targets, to keep it easier for people. Now it's going to be, a lot of things are going to be a lot more easier to explain to people. What benefits you get? You get access to this, and also the Jira tank, and the tools, or also the nouns aspect, and there's a lot more to speak about, so which will all be on the website. Yep. What's next one? DJ, can't hear you. Sorry.
Okay. Hi. Sorry. I think I was on mute.
Yeah, that's all right.
So, okay. My third question, right? For the voting rights, right? Okay.
Mhm.
Let's say if Legion actually puts out a proposal, okay, can somebody from Sentinel or Renegade vote on that particular proposal?
Nope. Nope. It's going to be two people. So number one is that faction. Number two is the Genesis holders. So faction clears it up and comes to you guys as Genesis holders. You'll be having the final say. So we want it to be refined through Genesis as well. So let's put it this way: the top 3 proposals of each week from each faction will be coming to Genesis. Genesis will vote. From there, the top 3 will be taken finally. So Genesis will be having almost the final say in most of the things in terms of it moving forward. Because at the end of the day, all of you are working, or you want PG to succeed. So there is no reason why you would be like, oh, it's coming from Fusion, guys, I want to reject the proposals. If the proposal is good, you're probably going to through it. So in this way, there's a little bit of this hierarchy system, but at the same time, there is a clear, 600 to 700 neat people that are voting for the benefit or success of PG as well. So in that sense, Genesis will be having a final say as always, with the proposals moving forward.
Okay, thank you.
Could the stats on the website be updated, which is quite old? Yes, that's on work, Sachin. Yes, it's going to be. I don't know if we have planned on a dynamic one for certain aspects of the website, but for sure there is an amazing filter coming up with article filter in our website. I'll let Amresh talk about it on a separate topic because there's a lot of info. But it's going to be pretty cool for people to filter, to search, to read, information specific to the collection that they hold. Just simplifying for all the lazy ones, without they don't have to read 10 articles to understand, but they can filter the info that they want: utility info, gen 2 info, or whitelist access and things like that. So a lot of things would be through the website. Yes. What can we learn from Nouns DAO in terms of success, failures, future of DAOs? What unique challenges? Good question. I think number one, the biggest problem I think for Nouns is the long-term super sustainable aspect, because they do not take equity. There's no single entity to run it or control it. You can claim the fund and not do anything, and you can run away with the funds, right? With PG, we want to maintain a high standard, so we will have a proxy doxing at least by PG, right? And we'll be controlling that, and ideally we would like to give back a percentage of profits in the future to the Nouns treasury. So this way we can ensure a high quality of approvals or proposals being accepted coming from PG, right? So if you think about it, right, like what's happening with Nouns now, I can go and put in an amazing proposal and I claim 1000 ETH, I probably can run away from it. There is no accountability there, right? There's literally zero accountability. There is that's one of the major challenges as a noun, as a DAO. So it's almost like I want to change that to be a semi-proxy, docs thing. So before a proposal gets approved, we have a proxy doxy check and stuff like that. We can sign contracts and shit, and then we go and post the proposal. Funds will be in a multi-sig with us as well to ensure that somebody doesn't just run away with the funds, but it's released on a controlled basis or something like that to the the creator or something, unless he's a well-known person or he's fully doxed publicly. We announce that, guys, we have given him the funds. We are hoping that he does the job, but at the end of the day, if he runs away, legal implications on him, right? So yeah, I mean, that's one of the major challenges I think has been for Nouns. And number two is like, what would happen to Nouns if the funds dry out? For example, they're not taking equity or they're not taking any profits. I think as a DAO, for us, we are taking back profits, we are taking back equity, we are taking up percentage of whatever ETH that's coming in. So there's a little more sustainability for us as a DAO, where there's a person, like the people behind Nouns are 572 people. But still behind PG, it's me, Jamie, Amresh, Ken, and other people, right? So there's still a person or a group of people behind PG that's accountable and running the business, unlike most of the DAOs, which is just running by itself. So I would like to call us almost like a semi decentralized or semi decentralized DAO in that sense. Having access to nouns is only for the fusion factions for now. Yes, for now, because we want to kind of keep it a little more constricted, so it's going to be Genesis and for factions only. However, the benefits from the funding or the factions or the use cases will be spreading to the Gen 2s as well, and hopefully we open up in the future for Gen 2s as well, like, because we just want to keep it limited for starters, just see how it's going, how many proposals are coming. If very less proposals are coming through, we might look at opening to Gen 2. But remember, hierarchy is Genesis, followed by Fused, followed by Gen 2. So which means the first and foremost, the proposals that will be accepted or moved forward will be Genesis. Exactly, Don. So give them money back and buying more downs. This is our plan. So we want to, in all our proposals, we'll add our own set of statements below what we would like to offer nouns holders. So considering it's coming from somebody like myself and PG, it's a lot more reliable to an extent even for nouns holders. They're like, oh, this is not some random guy trying to ask for funds, but this is from a project like PG that's existed in the space for almost a year and a half. And, they're promising to pay back a percentage back to the treasury. Why not? Faction leaders or proposal owners will need to docs, at least to us. Yes, at least to us, as in like the team, myself and Jamie. At least proxy docs is fine. But if you wanna, ideally it would be nice to docs this thing. But proxy docs is fine. Like for example, Tata. I don't think you guys don't even know what's his real name mostly, or you don't know what's his passport details, or his, like, even now you can't find this too much of his pics or something like that publicly, right? Except in the server. So, but we know full details about Tata, right? So not necessarily fully docs to public, but at least to myself and Jamie, just to ensure, there's a little bit of accountability that's there. Do you think there will be any fused PG listed on OS? I mean, I don't know. It's on you guys. I don't know what you guys are going to do, man. Like, suddenly sometimes I expect an amazing news and I expect, you guys are excited and then you guys are like, go and dump it. And then sometimes I think that, okay, this news is not that good or something, and people just get excited for it. So I don't know. But I'm really hoping that we are pushing as hard as possible. Not any major project has done this. Think of this. I don't even know why they haven't done it, because technically 60th is not that big for a lot of projects, and no one has done this as a direct access and with a reach like ours, comparatively, right? No one's bought nouns or something. It's a win situation. So after this, if people still don't, like, people buying 35 ETH of nouns, I'm surprised if they won't even buy like 2 ETH of Gen 2s. Like, doesn't just make sense, like, if they don't do it, but it's on them. But we'll keep pushing and talking, going across AMAs, talking about this, making one-pagers. And after a point of this Q1, we're just going to pause on new products and only going to keep marketing the products that we technically have promised or built, rather than keep launching product after product after product. Stop at Q1 with whatever products we have in mind, and just either it's going to be dropped or keep that product alone, keep let it keep developing. But we're going to start focusing on spreading the word of these products and these developments that we have done. Wonder who's the first fusion DAO to create only Jira fans. I think it's DJ, 100% DJ. I'm confident that DJ is going to post a proposal for only Jira fans. I can almost feel it. I guess the GA is my only chance. I'm going hard on this. Want to add that fusion. I mean, Harry, just as in, like, you're just here, you're just listening to us. I think that itself is a big win. But considering that majority of them don't even want to read or listen, but just want results. So don't worry about it if you can't join us now. 100%, like, you being part of this community. like there's no need to FOMO or anything. There's always going to be chances for people. I strongly believe the concept of it's going to become impossible to reach is just at this stage at least. I don't know. I mean, and I told this once, and the floor went ballistic long time back after in a couple of months. But yeah, essentially just I think just being part of the community and Jira voxels. I don't know. It's just like people at this stage. They, as I said, like we would be posting a lot more info, and the tools are ready as well for Jira voxels and stuff like that. So even just Jira voxels is pretty much an entry into the ecosystem. What happened with nouns? Floofy, I think will drop a detailed TLDR or the recording. Essentially, we are acquiring, or rather acquired one of the two nouns that we are acquiring to give access to our holders to the nouns DAO, which is worth about like 28,000 ETH and stuff. DJ, I think if you saw the Medium article, there's a timeline there of how the timeline is going to be. So pre-launch is pretty much done at this stage. First week, whatever is being set up. First month, second month, and ongoing. So if you can see the DAO roadmap, that's pretty much the target that we have. It should be pretty much less than like a couple of weeks. I think we should be able to start the snapshot and stuff. From a marketing perspective, I'd be interested in a long-term partnership with Nouns. Exactly. I think that's exactly the, that's exactly the plan as well. To have a joint marketing with them, help them grow at the same time, grow as well. Because it's a very small community and very small amount of holders, but extremely rich holders and smart members as well in the community. So yeah. Yes, Sachin, we just want to keep the, let's say first we have to acquire the second nouns because we only got the first nouns today. So it's basically like info first that's coming out to you guys. So there's too much of info coming out and it's just like already people don't even know what we posted like a month back. So just has to be, there's a marketing, like a calendar that has to go based on that plan kind of thing. Yes, for all those who are questioning about the whales aspect, especially Ox General, I think he brought up a valid point about us not targeting the whales like other communities. But as I said, like most of the whales of other communities, just because they hold 10 doesn't mean they directly get extra benefits or something like that, but rather, it's just the fact that they hold more of a particular project. So here, more of Fusion or more of Genesis means more of the equity share, more of the claim share, which is directly proportional to the number of NFTs you hold. And with the loyalty program as well, what we mentioned 2 weeks back, what I explained briefly the other day, how the tickets or the automated accesses are going to be per NFT based. So there's quite a lot of changes. We are giving value back to the loyalty holders. We're giving an actual use case and utility. I'm just throwing this out, right? Tomorrow, worst case, let's say PG is like destroyed completely and there's only nouns sitting in the vault, right? By itself, you're getting complete access to a 28,000 ETH treasury. I'm just giving a very, very, very stupid example, but just thinking about it, right? Like it's dependent on the vault of another thing like nouns that's held by all these whales. We're not going to let it fail, for example, right? So just one passive use case or utility that's just going to keep running by itself. Along with all other stuff. That's how we want to see it. Will Fusion be first come, first serve? I think 450 spots were put in Jira Exchange, and another 450 spots will be available on the website directly on the mint day, which is technically tomorrow. I think 9 p.m. EST. Touch wood. Everything is fine so far. I just don't know. I hope the devs, I don't know, for some reason, almost like, today's 15th. Yeah, that's right. So it's tomorrow, basically 9 p.m. EST. I think that's basically 17th of Australian time. yeah, I mean, like, what to say, like, in the sense, like, every time this happens with devs, it comes, it's almost like how before the exam time we are like, oh shit, we didn't study this question, and we keep studying till the last minute. The devs, everything is fine, everything is all good, but every time I've seen this, that on the day of some launch, they're like, oops, sorry, there is some small issue, we just have to delay by 30 minutes or 1 hour. I don't know why this happens, or I've seen it with almost so many projects, and a lot of projects as well. It keeps happening, I don't know. So yeah, the last 450, yes, is going to be Jira Mint, using the ERC20 Jira tokens. Yes, that's right. Can we fuse via phone? I don't think so. I think you probably want the experience to be on the website. Yeah, it's probably, I think you need to do certain stuff like, just dragging, dropping and things like that. So phone it's not like a new NFT collection in that sense, right? You need to have 2 Gen 2s that's going to get transferred and things. So yeah. Is it possible that the faction will mint out and you can't mint? I think yes. Theoretically, yes. Right? Theoretically, yes, but practically, I don't think so. Because as I promised, even the last sets of spots were sold, with enough time for people, whoever wanted to, register and stuff. So I think it shouldn't be a problem with you choosing what faction you want. So if you hold 5 voxels, or every voxel that you hold in your wallet, you get 100 Jira discount for all the fusions. So if you want to fuse 5 times, it's going to cost you like 1,250 Jiras into 5. If you just have 5 voxels. So yeah, it's kind of like infinite in that sense. Like you hold 5 voxels in your wallet, you essentially are going to get like discount across all the fusions that you're going to do. Nah, I think I told it multiple times. So Gen 1 greater than Gen 2 fused, greater than Gen 2. I don't know how much better I could have explained that with the numbers as well. So Genesis, as I said, like will keep gaining a lot more numbers and equity and access to IDOs, and will have the final say in a lot of things. Plus, still if someone's going to offer us all whitelist, and they even if they deny that they can't do 666, the number 1 is going to be for Genesis. So just for this month, I think we have got 3 top projects in that sense. I think number 1 is Momoguru. I think I announced it in the Genesis chat. We got the highest allocation, and the closest next best, I would say, is 4x. I mean, divided by 4. So we got 4x more allocations than any other next project in that sense, right? So I'm going to tell them. I leaked the number for few people in the Genesis, but it's a big number. It's a huge number. So in that sense, number 1. Number 2 is obviously we got all Genesis whitelisted for the next drop by this guy, Andrew Choi. I think they're dropping this thing called, what is it, Dream Girls or something. So all Genesis gets whitelisted for it. Seems hyped. I don't know. It's up to you guys, but it's all Genesis. All Genesis gets auto whitelisted for this. Rather than auto whitelist, it's going to be, we're going to open up a form or something like that for you to fill up. If you fill up or pay a small Jira token or something, you can get access to it. So we got like a solid number of spots for that. And lastly, we might get some huge number even for Star Symphony. I don't know, what is the name of it? So I'm in talks with the team. So Star Symphony, right? So this is also so just this month, about 3 projects. And Shan, the collab manager, is the main reason. Like, so this has been a while since I acted as a collab manager. So these 3 projects we managed to get like solid number of spots. So yeah, that's pretty much. I think it's, as I said, like it's majority of the spots. Still are gonna go for Gen 2s, Gen 2 fused, and Genesis as well. So yeah. Can we also create a Jira voxel from a fused Gen 2, or it must be done with a normal Gen 2? Fused, maybe in the future we can look at dropping some fused 1:1 if we can. or if there's enough demand. Yes. Wait. Let me get Ken to help you. Ken, can you help Kur? Because I think you might have missed the announcement. It was going on for almost a week to allow people to use Jira X. So if you don't have Jira, I think maybe Ken can just do
Yeah,
a.
yeah,
if
DM
he-
me. I'll help you out.
Yep. We'll just help you out. So just sort it out with Jira X for them. Aku, fuck it, I'm getting FOMO to get another fusion. I mean, I think that's been one of the complaints of our holders as well, and I think that I understand. Like Shan, why do you keeping PG like a fort when people outside don't even know what's happening? You need to conduct more spaces, talk about it, because there's 80 people or 100 people that listen to this, but on a spaces there's a lot more people, and this thing. Yes, I think it just, I don't know. I just feel like first, as they say, solve the issues at home before you go and solve the issues at world. So first, I want to make sure that you guys first understand what's happening, within the ecosystem, and that last thing I want is you guys not understanding what's happening, and there's new set of people coming in without any of the understanding. So I just hope, like, with the fusion coming out and the loyalty programs and things like that. I just hope that you guys first are clarified with all the info that's come through the Medium article and all those things. The day the is PG lacking forum just kind of gets cleared with no, this thing, which is probably in a week or two or something, hopefully, or even within this month. I think we're going to move to Twitter Spaces either ways within a week or two. So I think from almost from next week or the following week max, all our town halls will be in Twitter Spaces. So then a lot more people can learn about PG and all these things, and Aku's FOMO could technically go on to people outside PG as well. Don't you know that there are more? Don't worry about the 3D avatars and Jiraverse, because at this stage we have paused it, Achin. Because there's a lot of metaverse work that's still going on. Like there's a Achin, what we got to remember is the biggest brand in NFT is betting all its money on metaverse. One of the biggest companies in the world, Facebook, changed its name to Meta, and it's betting on metaverse. So as much as whether I believe in it or not, so many big names are betting huge on metaverse. It's important to have metaverse assets, and that's one of the major reasons for us to come up with it, right? So if metaverse fails, for example, we at least want to have, still we are giving utility for Jira voxels and stuff in that sense. So every project has got its multiple other collections and stuff, but for us it's pretty much, there's only two. When you think about it, there's only PG and Genesis and Gen 2, but the Gen 2s are basically having this fused as a branch. But I mean, what else do we do? We need to have the segregation in terms of numbers and stuff. So yeah. So I think the avatars and the mystery drop for now, I think you don't need to worry about it. So it's four. The Genesis, Gen 2 Fuse, Gen 2 and Jira Vox is going to be our first focus. I have two Gen 2s plus a reserve spot. I'm good for Fusion. Yes, you're good. You don't need to have any more Fusion cost on top. So anyone who bought a Fusion spot from Jira Exchange, you don't need to pay any more Jira on top, except if you want to reroll, right? So we have a reroll function on the website. So you'll get an artwork when you throw into good Gojiras, and if you want to reroll to get a legendary, or I clearly explained before DJ again gets scared. So this legendary doesn't have extra utility or anything. It's purely like a one-on-one art. So if you want to reroll for another art that you like and stuff like that, only for reroll aspects, you would essentially need Jira to be. You need to have Jira. So it's going to be 100 Jira rerolls per this thing per reroll. 100 Jiras per reroll. Yep. Yeah, I think that's I get your point. As I said, it's going to be only 4 collections, and remember that our numbers are still small in terms of supply wise, right? 333 plus 999 plus Gen 2s are going to be 1,000 for starters, plus voxels are at 4,500 or something. We're still less than 10k supply. So yes, it could be, but we're working on a nice, neat way, like a quiz format. Like, it's almost like how have you seen a psychology test that happens to find out what suits you kind of thing? So it's almost like a questionnaire where people can just fill in or like just keep answering like 10 questions and it'll show what NFT fits them, like based on their budget, based on their utility or what they're looking for. It's a nice, I think this is something, it'll be nice for you guys to see. So when people are like, they're clueless what to do, they're like, oh, gamification, they love gamification, they want a cheap entry, they want access to tools, buy a GeroVox. You want an access to funding, you want access to all these calls or alphas and shit like that, go for this. You want equity in PG, opportunity for equity in PG, you want IDOs and stuff, and your budget is this much, go for Genesis. That's the kind of like a questionnaire, almost like a questionnaire where I answer 10 questions and we show what best fits your this thing and throw up the utility. So just imagine it as like a 1 page, 5 questions answered or 6 questions, and it throws up what fits you and what utilities currently is there with all these with that NFT kind of thing. So it's a very simple way to onboard people. Onboarding is not hard, guys. Sustaining is the hardest part. Onboarding is easy because you guys a lot of you have stayed for a year, but after a year you get bored or you get irritated because it's not 100 ETH floor yet and things like that. That is the hardest part. So we need a community or set of holders that just go beyond the floor and just want to be part of this movement. That's the hardest part. I think if I make a tweet now like, oh, if we don't reach 4 ETH floor by end of this month, I'll pretty much quit, or I'll give 10 ETH giveaway or 5 ETH giveaway or something like that, like some kind of a bullish stuff, or you don't know what you're expecting and things like that. Tweets like that pretty much can obviously pump the floor, and a lot of them buy in for speculation and things like that, right? So just we don't want to do that. That's it. I just want my airdrop for legendary. Can I pick what faction I want for? I think for the legendary, the free airdrop. Yes, I think you can. The extra airdrop, yes, I think you can. For fusion, we still be using staking pass. Nope, staking pass will be out. So you guys, when we announce, I think the fusion, when you're ready to fuse, you gotta unstake. We'll post an announcement. No more staking, no more hard staking. You just can hold it in your wallet or throw it in your ledger and stuff. So there's no more hard staking anymore. So you just hold it in your wallet, and GRAX will accumulate in your this thing. What is it in your? Jira Exchange. One free roll if you reserved fusion. That's right. Yep. I still don't understand women, and I'm happily married. Yep. Says every man ever. Put that question mark up, and again, I'm gonna come there instantly. Bro, I think I'm gonna announce Abs as the memes master of PG, man. I think he does nothing but that. Nothing but memes. Not memes, like shit talker of PG to run. I have no idea how I made a MetaMask, but I kept clicking things until I had a JPEG that was a year ago. Yeah, fusion is tomorrow 9 p.m. EST. 16th Jan 9 p.m. EST. What if you don't have fusion? You just carry on staking? Nope. If you don't have fusion, you still can take the NFT out of the pass and just keep it in your wallet, and still you'll have access to Jira Exchange, and still you will earn Jira tokens. We'll post an announcement about it. Anyone who wants to buy a llama? I can swap with you if you're really keen. I can swap. I can get you a couple of Gen 2s or something and swap. Swap your llama if you really want to come in. We need to be at 9 p.m. EST, or we can fuse later. You can fuse later. Don't stress. Don't have to pay gas and shit. Yeah, I think you don't need to worry about that. All right. Don't. If you have reserved a spot, just can come anytime. Yeah. Habibis for sure, man. Dump your Genesis, sweep the floor. Habibis floor. Is Ramos still active? I don't even know. Anyways, how long do we have to fuse? I don't think currently we have put a limit, but we might have a month or 3 weeks or a month limit probably for Fuse. Not the first come first serve. I mean the ones who reserved it. Shan, make sure that you're swapping with the actual person, not like that Twitter GA. Oh my god, I don't want to think about it. Just fucking scammer. Lost my Gen 2. Yeah, I mean, I don't think you guys need to stress. I personally think that it's not going to be a gas war or something. I think we saw the numbers. I think it's going to be pretty on the point, or there's going to be like probably, I mean, don't come at me for this, but maybe there's 30 or 35 that would be left over from what our calculations or numbers are, unless people just buy it now or something like that, or a little bit later. So you don't have to stress. Don't pay too much gas. Just come and casually. I think you should be fine, even for the first come first serve. I think. We mainly wanted to give the Jirax mainly because a lot of them had converted the Jira to Jirax and they couldn't get it back, right? So that's why we wanted to give them this chance to reserve it this way. Shan, yeah, sure, man. I can definitely do it if you want to swap. I can give you two. I can buy 2 of Gen 2s and I can swap it with you for sure if you want to do it. Remo is active. He has a vault system, and people pay into vault and they pump. What the heck, bro? He's really got this thing called Project Gajira Vault.eth. Oh my god, he's just such a kid. This guy challenged us that like a year or something. I don't know, man. I don't want to talk about this guy and waste our time. How do we see the rarity? Do we need a separate tool or is it integrated? Rarity, I don't know. Rarity, it's going to be Trait Sniper, but like we haven't given them any particular details for rarity. It's going to be auto compiled. Normal Gen 2 will be lesser than the Gen 2 Fusion. I think it's pretty, as I mentioned, like Gen 2s are still going to continue the way it is with all the accesses. Wherever we're going to work, we're still going to get them access. Gen 2's supply is going to be 1,200 for the longest of times, and Gen 2s are also going to win more Gen 2s. Again, I think those of you who missed, I think some of you were shocked with a lot of announcements that were made, like the Jira to Jira exchange, like Jira changing to Jira X. I think that's cool. Probably you guys were busy. Yes, that's one of the changes. And number 2 is that the Gen 2s are not burning. So in case you guys didn't know that, over a period of 2 to 3 years, the Gen 2s are going to come back to you holders. So slow, drip of Gen 2s back into the ecosystem to expand the holder base. But it's going to be won by you guys, like in automated ways and things like that. So it's going to be like super slow drip. So essentially for just holding your Genesis or Fused or Gen 2s, you essentially can win Gen 2, another Gen 2 or more back. All right. Excuse me. All right, guys. Anything else or all good?
Peace out, y'all.
All right. You're maxed out of your friend list. Welcome to the Elite 1000 Friends Club. Oh my god, it's not letting me send you a friend request. Just DM me in Twitter if you can. Right. Thanks, guys. I think we'll post the TLDR and some tweets with this info, and also we'll. Jamie, can you confirm that the dashboard or the soft staking and the website for Fusion is ready, or I don't know if you're here, but I'm gonna link you up with this. I think yeah, it is ready. All right, perfect. Good to know. No last minute dev being like 1 hour delay and stuff like that, right? Like I don't know. Let's see. It's trying to
Okay,
target.
Shan,
Yep.
I'm sorry, I actually have one last
Yeah, go for
question.
it.
Yeah. So okay, let's say for people that actually like they do the fusion, they swap to maybe a Sentinel, okay, but let's say that later on there are people that want to change like one for one change like from Sentinel to like Legion, right?
Mhm.
Is there a way like maybe you can actually like
Yes,
assign
yes.
some of the team members to actually to be like the escrow?
No, it's the easy way. Just use this. It's very safe. I've used it. I've put a link here. It's completely safe. Use just that link what I posted, not some fake links. Anyone
Okay.
can do it with yourself without having to. We'll post an announcement with this link, so it's much more easier to ensure, or you guys know that it is legit. So basically, this acts as an escrow. So you send it and it holds in a contract. The other and you ask for the NFT, and they send it, and you check it, and then you pretty much can swap. So this link, the swap.kiwi, is pretty much a very safe swap that I've done. I've used multiple times.
Okay, all right, thank you.
No problems. If you guys still are scared or something, yes, you can reach out to G. But depending on the request, if there's 5, 6 people, I think G can be an escrow. He can help. He's helped few people. But if it's too much or too many requests, then I think the best is Kiwi Swap. So if we make an announcement with the link, I think people will feel that it's it's a little more legit and stuff. Yeah. So I think we'll make an announcement about this. Yeah. All right. Anything else? What if example there's already that mean we can't fever 2 for evil gen 2 again? That's right, but it's highly impossible for one particular faction to mint out before the other one. As I said, we are reserving 99 spots for later. So in case you guys are stuck with 2 gen 2s and you actually purchase the spot, and I'm assuming in case you're not getting your faction, reach out to us. We'll help you. All right. So we are reserving 99 for exactly the same reason, to make sure that there's no FUD, because just don't FUD. Okay, we calculated all these moves, and we got all these reserved just for safety for all the whales, or you legendary holders, or people who still haven't read instructions and still do something wrong. We have reserved 99 spots, so in case of some issues, we can help and assist getting you this thing. When will the old staking contract end? Pretty much tomorrow. Once the fusion goes live, I think the old contract is it's useless.
Not exactly true. So I think it won't be
You
any
still
good for the
have-
fusions.
Yeah, that's right.
Like if you have some Gen 2s that you don't fuse, then it'll still be good for a while until you make the swap over to
Okay.
soft staking entirely.
So still there would be a little bit of Jira earning for the normal Gen 2s?
Yeah, until we switch it off.
Okay, so the soft staking will be live only for fusion, is it, for tomorrow?
Well, yeah, I think so.
Okay, so worst case, guys, don't worry, right? Worst case, if for whatever reason there's there's a small delay or something, we'll pay back the GRAX, in some way, like an ad drop or something. We'll talk to our devs. So don't worry, it should be. We'll post an announcement, Ken, what normal single Gen 2 holders should do, and what those who are going to fuse need to do.
Yeah, okay. I'll talk to Simply tomorrow.
Yep, sure. Can you get a friend to send Jira boxes to Fuse for discount and send it back to them? Yes, you can do that. It's not a one-time use. You can definitely do that. I don't know if this has been asked, but do we have any numbers regarding how many wallets? I think the numbers, I don't know if the last numbers we checked was 870 or something. I don't know. I think it was 870 if I'm not mistaken. So that's why I said like it's about like 30 of them. There's going to be 900 in total, right? So probably there's going to be about 30 of them that spots will still be left, I think, potentially, or unless somebody bought it. I think somebody bought even 2 now and things like that. So don't strain. I think it should be, don't have to wake up and stuff like that. I think you can do it. I'm pretty confident that you should be able to participate. Worst case, if it mints out, we have still 99 left in our with us, which we might be able to essentially allow few of you guys to also claim from that. So worst case, yeah. I don't think there's going to be like 200 sales now, so I think we should be very safe. Or even allow few people, or we keep it open, allow few people to naturally, maybe reserve, their second gen 2 or stuff and fuse within like 2 weeks or something like that for very small set of crowd. But nothing is guaranteed. So we'll drop the 99 depending on how much of demand or how things have sold out and things like that. All right, guys, thanks a lot. I think I'll catch you all tomorrow after the fusion. Yep. Catch you. Bye.